And for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Jeff Gigliano.
Here.
Nicole French.
Here.
Joe Steiger.
Here.
Dina Kryler.
Here.
No Candies. Laura Oliver.
Here.
So you have a quorum of the TAC-TTC combination, but you don't have a TTC quorum.
Okay.
So one of the issues we have with that, I'll just quickly explain, is that we have one spot that's reserved by state statute for hotel motel. We have not expanded that to include Airbnbs or B&Bs. So we're limited as to who we can assign to that slot. So we've asked, and we have not gotten any response on somebody that lives in St. Genevieve County, that works with the hotel motel industry that can serve on the TTC. If we can figure out a way to expand that definition, we would have a lot more folks to choose from that'd be potential members. But
Happy, is it possible we could contact our state legislature, because it is something that, you know, several different major cities are also defining in their ordinances? Could we say, you know, loosely to include?
I mean, there is no definition in state statute, but when you're,
Curious.
yeah, there are other sections that have hotel motel in it, so, you know, but.
So what's
there's no
involved in making that happen?
That would have to go through the state representative and then change legislation to include that.
Do we have any pending members that are out there that are on the fence?
In the hotel motel part of it,
Yeah.
no. But we haven't contacted anybody that does a B&B because it's not a listed use.
So how come Jason Stackley is not a TTC member and instead he's a TAC member?
Because he came in as a TAC member, that was what we had open. He is in the Airbnb, but he can't serve as a representative on TTC.
And that's because it's an Airbnb and not a
Yes.
B&B?
It's not, no, because he doesn't have a hotel motel.
Right.
It has to be either the
Does he
motel,
contribute to the hotel motel? The Airbnbs don't contribute to the hotel motel tax?
they contribute,
Yeah.
but it's not defined as one of the members of the
The way
board.
it's written, yeah.
No.
To make them a member.
Who do we need to call? Rick Francis?
Rick Francis is who
Okay.
we're following, yeah. So,
Can you
anyway,
get us the language that you're wanting us to change,
I have
or?
no idea. And
I can give you the lobbyist from Expedia, and he'll tell you, yeah.
Well, I mean, if we have to.
You know, he was
Probably
at,
somebody
I just had a
in
conversation
the
with him this
department,
week.
wouldn't he? I mean, Rick could read it, but it's probably something in the grant money, I guess.
Okay, I don't know.
I wouldn't even think it'd be legislation. You think somebody in the department could probably.
It might, but we haven't heard of anybody I haven't heard of anybody that's used that definition broadly. It's been narrow, but you know, they may not have had the issue that we've had with the shortage of
Do they
small
audit
operators.
us for that?
Well, I mean, anything you would pass could legislatively
Well, they
be
would.
improper.
Well, I suspect we're probably not the only community that.
Yeah, that we're kind
Just
of.
one hotel.
Well,
This
Kansas City,
reality.
Have you reached out to people to be on the TTC and you just haven't heard back? Or you just don't have you don't have no one to pull from?
I don't have anybody in that pool to pull from at this point. Well, in contact, we talked to Sabrina Ford. She had to resign. She had joined, and I said, if you've got somebody else at my hotel that would like to serve, lives in the county, let me know. You can get that to me. Talked to the folks out at the Audubon's. I mean, and we had Dee Patel on here, but Dee had so many personal issues that she couldn't serve, you know, and be here enough. So we're just kind of out of options at this point.
Okay.
We'll be working on it. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
One last question. What's the definition of a hotel? Is it just what they branded, or is it X amount of rooms, or do you know what the?
It just has hotel motel, so there's no particular definition. in
If the
that.
business brands it as a hotel motel, then I guess it would qualify.
Right.
Okay, Kathy, so, given that, does that, the mix we have today have an impact on what we're able to accomplish today?
Yeah, you will not be able to adopt the budget as presented.
Okay, so we can discuss it but, okay,
Yep, yep.
all right.
So that means no motions of minutes or anything can be,
You can do that. So this is an official meeting of the two groups, and that's how it was combined. You just can't, and if there were some decisions you had to make, you would do that as long as you're not spending money, because that's what the TDC would be required to do. Yeah, so you need 3 or 5. And we had, I haven't heard from Patrick, but I know Taylor sent an email earlier today saying she couldn't make it.
Yeah, and Jason said he couldn't make it.
Donna Rouse.
And Donna.
And Donna, yeah.
said
but
she could
neither,
make it.
those two aren't on TTC, they're just TAC.
TAC.
So
And Candy Mahurin is going to resign as well from TAC. She's just too busy. So she missed a few meetings. So, we're down
Okay.
to-
All right. Agenda?
So moved.
Second?
I'll make a second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, approval of the meetings from the previous minutes. Any questions or comments? Previous minutes? If not, we have a motion to approve. Or is that something else we can't do?
Now we
Yeah,
can.
you can do.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, financial report.
Yeah, so on the first page, you see the deposits. We've had one debit, and that was for Jay Rudney for the website. And so we haven't gotten back up to our $80,000 level, but we'll see that happen in the next month or so. And then on the back page, you see what we've been doing month to month. We're 24,000. We're estimating that we're probably going to be at about 30,000 again for the year.
Questions or comments?
That's a couple good months in that. January's uncharacteristic. This January was really high compared to no other time.
Yeah, sometimes that happens with, if we don't get paid immediately, it might be a month late. So it could be like the Christmas festival or Thanksgiving or something. And we see that in January, but yeah, nice to see.
No other comments.
It was just like Amos show, not actual rent.
Do we know where most of these payments are coming from? Which properties? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, because you're right. this
We
December's
do.
pretty light.
But that's privileged information.
Well, I wouldn't say it right now.
All right. No questions or further comments on financial report?
For motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public comments. Do we have any comments from our members of the public with us today? No? No? Okay, old business. So, the past events, there was the Honey Festival. I think, Robbie, what was the estimate on attendance?
I think it was somewhere between 4 to 5.
About, okay, between 4,000 to 5,000. County Fair.
County Fair was sort of successful, but I don't know what the numbers were. They didn't take account. Nobody has told me what an estimate is. I haven't heard.
She just reported at the IDC meeting that it was the biggest fair they've ever had.
I think the demolition derby attendance was pretty high too. And I don't know if it was the highest, but it was pretty high. And that was because there's not a lot of gate tickets that they collect. So the demo is one, and it was really high. So that's a
Great
good
weather all
sign.
weekend long, didn't rain on them, so it ended up being a pretty good fair.
So real quick on the old business, can we, when we do pass events like that, can we ask for reports from the organizers so we know how to appropriately report it? I don't want to just like take Robbie's word that there was 4,000 or 5,000 people at the Honey Festival. You know what I mean? Not that I wouldn't believe you, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
Amanda could give a report and
Right.
share, because I guarantee you she has one.
Yeah.
And I think it would be helpful for us reporting forward for planning purposes. And
Well, if you get good feedback too.
yeah, you get good feedback, and not only that, but like Karen with the county, she's the liaison for the fair board, but she could also give that same report. I mean, she did it for the IDC chamber meeting. It was a rough estimate. She didn't have any solid numbers.
Give them the option of either attending in person or putting in a
Right.
written report?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. That way
Okay.
we're not just pulling numbers out of the air, and we
Okay,
actually have something to go off of.
okay.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's-
I think
we're
it's,
supporting them, and
Yeah.
both financially and with
Mhm.
services, so it's fair that they come back with a report.
Well, I don't think we actually gave Amanda anything for funding, though.
Well,
No.
our marketing that we do, and it's in kind, if nothing else, then.
Yeah, I don't know that we did anything though for that one particularly.
but still, I think you can make the argument that whatever is happening with these they have an impact, and it's useful information to give us a perspective on what's going on.
Yeah.
And looking at trends and seeing how things are developing. So it's useful information to have.
Well, we could also ask what market they were pulling from, so we know maybe how to target some ads
Yeah.
moving forward.
In the future, we can tie it to the website with event ticketing. There's a feature, and it can be free, but then also, you know, you could do spiff, obviously. And, of course, yeah, so we would have real numbers.
Okay, upcoming events. I think that's a variation on what you're saying, that we don't really have any. Would be useful to have some preliminary input in advance, and no one here is directly connected with Jour de Fête, correct?
What do you mean by directly connected? I'm sorry.
Involved with organizing, planning, and
Oh.
presenting any parts of it that would have direct knowledge of expectations, hopes,
How many vendors they currently have, et cetera.
issues they may be encountering. And
Well, I was supposed to have a meeting with Carrie, but, you know, she had some personal items, and so,
with who?
Carrie,
Oh,
no.
okay.
So we're rescheduling. I don't know. We're trying to reschedule.
Okay. And Oktoberfest is still far enough away that I don't think it's really on the radar yet.
I mean, I see some promos coming out for it
Mhm.
already, so,
They're actively
yeah.
promoting it and, you know, preparing. I would just like to ask something here. I did send out a questionnaire. I don't know who got it, because it's my first attempt to really, you know, kind of send everything out to everybody. But when it comes to the calendars, the thought process would be to, first of all the festival organizers would have all their contact information. They would verify. There's got to be a way where we can all, you know, somebody has to be the keeper of the information when it comes to festivals and so forth. So, you know, are these dates accurate as you move from one year to the other, or even one season to the other? And one of the things that I'm looking into is having seasonal calendars, you know, so that allows for more room to put content on it. Also gives us the flexibility when things change. You know, we don't have hundreds of calendars that, have the wrong information. We have time to pivot and just, change things. So if you get that survey, or if you haven't got it, let me know and I'll try to send it out
Okay,
again.
well, one thing about seasonal is that I think the question would be for people to think about would be, how far in advance are you trying to promote events, and does seasonal work against you in that?
Oh,
And
well, I'm
then-
working the whole year.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
working the whole year, but what I'm saying is
But I mean, for what
quarterly.
people are going to see.
Oh, well, I'm just saying that, yeah, we would queue it all up, but it would be quarterly, okay? And when I say seasonal, so if you have something in the spring, your design and graphics would be a little bit different, but it would be those 4 months. And then, you go into summer, et cetera, and Christmas.
So people could see the whole year, it's just each season would have its own.
We could do it both ways. Personally, I would do the whole calendar digitally, and I'd do, some of the seasonal ones. I'd make that more available, because so many things change. I mean, even on the current calendar, there were things that were inaccurate as we were approaching those dates,
Did you send that out to everyone, all downtown establishments and for all the festival planners, or just this group?
Yeah, Laura, I sent it to everybody on my kind of master festival list. And then I did also include businesses, but I am really trying to build a database. I don't have email addresses for everybody. But if you do, and you want to share it with me, it'd be great. So,
Is there anybody in particular that you're missing that you?
well, there's a lot of shops, I don't have their email addresses, and I see I've got a few bounces, so maybe I just have the wrong ones. I'll look into it though, so thanks.
I know Toby shared a list with us that had most of the current stuff on there, so I don't know if you're cross-referencing that document that he sent us.
I have all those, and some of those are incorrect, so I've updated it since then, yeah. But, I mean, I can send it to you and you can look at it.
I have it. No, I was on the email with you.
Oh, no, I
So
mean,
we've got
the
two
master
columns.
list, I mean.
Do what?
The 2 columns of the events, or which one are you talking about?
No, the email list that Toby sent out of all the shops and the shop owners, the contact
The
person,
contact
and then their
information.
email address.
Yeah.
That list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have that?
Should be.
Yeah.
You were on the email. that-
I've gone through all those lists, so
I mean, I use that list on a regular basis. There's not much I get kickback from.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe it's not the same list, but I thought it was.
Well, maybe you should forward to her just in case.
Yeah, that'd be great. I just got 2 new names today. And I got a mobile phone from you, right? So people are moving around.
Okay, other old business? Moving on to new business. Budget.
You got, and I apologize, there were 2 budgets in here. The second budget is the one that Ted Lynn proposed, so I would ignore the first one. The second one, and again, we can't approve it, but what we were looking at, I'll let Ted Lynn explain because she redesignated some of the categories. We're still looking at a $40,000 budget for expenditures in the coming year. We start our budget year October 1st.
So this is the one with proposed marked on the top of the page?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me get it.
And you can compare to kind of what we've had in the past on the other budget.
Which one was it? The Excel spreadsheet? Oh, okay. This one, okay, gotcha.
Yep. So there's 2 of them.
All right, okay. Well, I actually, I would like to hear the board's ideas as far as what they really, think the money should be spent on. I can go through my thought process.
Could I ask that you simply, I mean, this is fairly simple, if you could explain exactly
sure.
what visitor guide, new updated is.
So a digital design on the visitor guide, we have visitor guides that are very old and outdated, and to have somebody to, contract with somebody to graphically design it and for us to print it and so forth, I estimate it'll take about $5,000. The downtown maps, once again, I think once you have an accurate map, sure, you can print maps. My question is how many maps are needed, and if we have Visit Widget or we have some other form of finding information digitally, I guess, do we need a downtown map? Or how many do we need? I don't know. We would probably take a survey and ask the businesses, how many maps do you give out? And again, if you have a mobile device or you can find it, do you really need that many maps?
Yes.
You do.
You do.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, people they don't want to hold their phone. They literally want a map. I go through those tear-off maps that Happy gives me like crazy.
Abby just told me last week that maps were in, and I went to go get them, and they told me at the Welcome Center we could only have one, because there were so few.
One packet?
Yeah. I tried to
Are
get
you
4 or
redoing
5.
Mm.
Are they being
We only
redone?
bought 1,000 back then, so,
Oh.
but I don't know how quickly they were going through at the Welcome
Well, they
Center.
only gave us one.
So,
Like 50?
What's that?
What's a pad? How much is on a pad?
100.
100?
Yeah. And how many
Yeah.
do you usually print in a year?
Well, we haven't been consistent about it, so we've been doing that now for, 7 months?
Well, let's say in the last calendar year, how many did you go through?
4,000.
Yeah, for some reason, I want to say that there used to be a print of 5,000 of those maps done every year.
Every year.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And,
So the 2,600 for last year, that number's off a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because we just did another
Well, it
Yeah.
probably wasn't up.
1,000.
Yeah, we didn't have maps for a while, for probably a year, I bet. Don't you think?
We had old maps that they printed at the Welcome Center. So it was, instead of that
Oh.
3D view, it was a
Okay.
flat view, and
Yeah.
it was printed on the
well,
inkjet printer.
Joe, were you about to say something? Okay. Direct experience with the visitors, the maps are extremely useful, especially when you're trying to explain something to people and we're cross-marketing and telling people where to go to find the rest of the parts of the story and where to find something to eat and something to stay, and having the maps since we've been able to get them, which we weren't for many years, has been really extremely useful, and particularly given the number of more mature guests that we get, that having the piece of paper is very helpful to them, we find. With all respect, Happy, I think the 1,500 isn't enough.
So how many maps is that?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that
Because we
question.
spent 235 on the last group, because we didn't make any changes to it. So we figured 250 for 1,000. So for $1,000, you're going to get 4,000.
Oh,
So for the 1,500, you're getting 4,000 maps? Is that what you mean?
1,500, we're probably
More
going to
than
get
that.
5,000 maps,
You are, okay.
5 or 6. Yeah.
Which
That's
is-
probably right.
yeah.
That's
And
probably
I mean, I
if they
agree,
were
people like to
spending-
hold something,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I also think that with their new Visit Widget and whatnot, some of that's gonna go away.
Yeah, if they can operate it.
So,
I mean,
Yeah.
it seems, I mean, what I've seen of it looks pretty snazzy.
The demographic that I see in my office, they like the tear-off maps because they're not on their phones, they don't want to drain their battery. You know what I mean? That's what I'm like, oh, we have this, oh, I don't want, do you have something I can hold? Do you have a brochure I can open up? Sure. So we go through the brochures and the maps like crazy in our office.
So I only ordered 1,000 this past time because the last series that I ran lasted pretty long. So it sounds like everybody's kind of running out at the same time.
Yeah.
So we can order more of them. We'll do that.
Yeah.
'Cause we
In
got
any
money
case, it
this year.
sounds like the 1,500's, it's,
That's probably,
Good place.
that's
I'm
probably
gonna
right.
make it, yeah.
Okay,
That's
if
probably right.
that's like 5,000.
If that's 5,000 maps, that's probably right.
Yeah.
That's a good, that's right.
$1,500.
$1,500, sorry,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, not
Oh.
1,500 maps.
We have to figure out, yeah, like the map itself, you know, it's actually going to be like a brochure, plus with a section that can be, you know, just a map. So it's going to be a comprehensive brochure
So you're
digitally.
getting rid of the tear-off map? Or
No, what I'm saying is it'll be available digitally, but yeah, if you want to take the file and you want to send it to a printer and print it, yeah, you can. You know,
Yeah, but I think the question that Dina's got, are we gonna have just the tear off of like the downtown view and
they
the
want.
businesses?
yeah, if you
But it's
want.
just
Bigger,
portion
it's
of the
bigger
visitors.
than, the map is bigger on the tear-off sheet, it's this size,
Yep.
than
Right.
it is in a brochure, a folded brochure where it's this size. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they want the tear-off sheet.
Yeah,
That's what I go through the most,
okay.
the tear-off sheets.
Well, when I say a digital, it's through a web, it's called eZoo, okay? And you can flip through it. Now, they can download it. You can slice and dice it however you want, but it's kind of like a master brochure. So we can take that file and we can make it available as a PDF and say, you know, here's all the shops and so forth. I'm just saying that it has to be designed and the information has to be correct and it has to be designed, and that's the largest issue, the most time-consuming issue. And also, yeah, creating the map.
We do need to update, because we had the brochures that Toby did, multiple pages.
I
That's
have-
where that map came from, was just a section of that. So that's what we're looking at, doing is trying to recreate that. And then be able to
Right.
make it where we can update the businesses easier than what we can do right now.
Yeah. Yeah, don't get rid of the tear-off map.
Okay.
I go through them way
please.
too much.
Yeah.
And so you may need to do more printing costs for the full map.
Here's some old maps. That was from 2014, and this one's 21, 22.
Not the other
I mean,
side.
those are brochures.
No, Happy, one of the things I
Those are
was wondering
brochures.
about it, on your earlier version of the budget, you got 2,600
That map
for
up there
it.
don't do nothing.
I was just
I mean,
curious
this
if that was based on
Yeah, it's people, it's way
what you
too
printed
small.
in previous years.
It's in a brochure, it's folded,
And
it's like a
if not,
trifold
if that
like
was
this.
actually an increase.
So it literally
we
looks
use
like
this one
this.
too.
This is the one I use. It's a tear-off
That was
map.
my estimate
Oh,
amount.
it's on the back. Oh, yeah, this is on the
Okay,
back.
Yeah, I mean, that was just an early
Yeah.
estimate.
No, we use this one a lot too.
yeah.
Like I said, once it's created digitally, you can modify it however you want. The trolley,
Okay, yeah, the
It's us,
sponsorship
they're
for
not
the,
modifying it, we're modifying and printing it for them. So we're creating and making available maps.
And we like this.
Yeah.
I like that. That's what I like.
yeah.
As long as it's updated.
Yeah.
They are extremely useful and people do enjoy it.
well, how about if I send you examples so you can see what other venues are using and say, oh, you know, just to give you the ideas. Because that one there obviously has to be changed. But, I mean, there's some really, really nice maps out there. I've collected at least 6, and I just think it would be nice if you guys saw them. Because I'm putting together a scope of work. Okay,
Send it to me. I'll
Great.
look at it.
would that be true for everybody here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Well, let me do that then. Okay.
Okay, let's see, the trolley sponsorship?
I actually have a question,
Okay,
Jeff, real
please.
quick, because I'm looking at the digital design for the visitor guide. It says new, updated, and then it's, on the side it says one time. So it's just a one-time fee, but who's paying for the maintenance of them to update it? We're updating it ourselves?
I can update it. The design part of it is, you know, I'm going to go to a graphic guy for it.
Who's paying for the graphic guy?
That's part of the budget. You guys,
Where is that at in here?
that's the 5,600 or
5,000.
5,000,
one
I'm
time.
sorry, yeah.
But it says one time.
So
Well,
that's
yeah.
for the design.
Right.
Okay,
So then you make it a digital file so that we can update it.
Right.
so.
That was the problem with that, was it was turned into a PDF and we couldn't update. We have problems, I have problems trying to update it, even with Adobe.
Okay, so we're gonna update it, but you said you're gonna send it to a digital guy.
Just to design it.
She's gonna have
No,
a graphic designer
no, more-
design it, and when she gets it back, it's gonna be a digital copy that she can
That
edit.
she can edit.
Yes. So we're paying a one-time,
Okay.
yeah.
Setup.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. The trolley, I guess that's kind of a rollover from last year,
It's a little over for many years.
for many years, okay.
Does it just say Visit St. John on it?
So, yeah. It is, they get sponsorships from a number of different groups, and that's
Yeah.
what helps support
Sure.
them. Especially the free rides, I believe, on Saturdays.
Mhm.
I think it's worth more than $500, but I'm just saying. It's a good investment, don't take it out of the budget.
Yeah.
Festivals, you probably noticed that there's a huge jump in that from 2,000 to 11,000. And that's where I think your input would be really important, because I think an examination of the festivals, the quality of the festivals, how they compare to our competitors, what kind of help they need, are they struggling with getting new attractions? Are they struggling getting, the quality of musicians and artists and things like that? And so my suggestion is that as part of the strategy, that would be something that, the group would explore.
Well, this kind of ties in with our idea of having a transparent and logical system for event organizers to apply for assistance. So are you thinking this 11,000 is potentially for use for event expenses other than advertising?
Well,
Or,
okay, if I can just back up a little bit, what I would do is I would take the whole calendar itself, and I would look at the calendar and the events, and I personally, as part of the branding and the marketing moving forward, is, our cultural heritage and those things that really separate us and make us unique would take precedence. So you look at the calendar and you say, okay, of all these events, and I'm not, they're good and everything, but which ones are really St. John's brand? And, we have events, sometimes 2 and 3 events on the same date. I think it would be great to have the festival organizers all in one room and look at, what are we trying to accomplish with our festivals? And if we're really trying to brand St. John French colonial or historic homes or whatever that is, how do these festivals support that from a cultural heritage perspective first? And I'm using Asheville, North Carolina as an example, actually. So there's other venues that there's other places that have historic
okay. but
sites,
that-
and they said that, we want to make sure that we preserve and we support our cultural heritage.
Okay, so I think we're all
So-
in agreement that there's a lot to be said for investing in supporting the events that tie out, like the idea of tying in with the brand
Right.
as that's established. Just the question is that just advertising, or is
No.
that, okay,
No, in fact, I think I would put it to the board, that is, what is the experience when, if I bring them here, what's the experience that they should have? Okay, so, if you're going to have rural heritage and French heritage and some of these other events, and you're really creating, gosh, there's all kinds of great stuff happening, in St. John because they're French. Do we have actors? Do we have great musicians? Do we have great food? All of the elements that make something like that very successful, where people, they enjoy it. I think it's worth exploring, to just sit down and just say, okay, what are the, what's new? What are we doing differently? And then start getting the feedback. And the other thing too, I think would be really, really interesting, and would be to compare and look at some of the other festivals. what are some of our neighbors doing, even,
So
different
this money
venues.
could be spent on better-known musicians or
Right.
food trucks or whatever.
Hey, we're gonna
We're going to
have
help you support this
thespians
event.
come down from St. Louis, and they're gonna put on this reenactment kind of thing and surprise people, and it's and you have to pay for some of that.
Yeah.
Is it our responsibility to be paying for their musicians? I mean, if Certified comes to you and they want you to pay for their bands for their entire festival, but then Oktoberfest comes to you and you're only gonna pay for one of their bands, how is that, like, why are we in that business?
Because we're going to help brand our city. And these are
But
we're going to
vendors-
identify some signature events,
Right.
which is, I believe, what we've referred to some of these in the past as. And I think it helps the brand overall.
So we're just
I
gonna
wouldn't
give
disagree
them
with
money
that.
for, I mean, I'm not saying
I
to
wouldn't
disagree with
disagree
the
with that at all.
brand, but we're gonna give people money to book bands, and I would much rather see it
And
in
we
an
already do that through the
advertisement.
muni band grants. So we do help with any
If
of
they
those events that
apply.
are, if they apply, of course,
Right.
yeah. And they're free and open to the public. So the city's already doing that in a way with the musicians. Now, not, actors or some of the other ideas that you had, it wouldn't fall in there.
I just think it's a slippery
It
slope.
is, because you're gonna have a lot of people coming to the till asking for, different things, and where do you start? Because $11,000 is not gonna go very far. You got.
Well, you pick and choose. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my point, is you're very strategic, and of course, you have to say, of these events. And the other thing I would put to you as a board is to look at the calendar and really look at the calendar and say, is it possible some of these events could happen together in different sections or something where they could combine things, and people that are visiting St. John could come here for a longer stay and get immersed into maybe other things that are heritage, cultural heritage, French, whatever the theme is. Because we have, I think I counted 39, and then we have 39 festivals and events and so forth, and then we have 12 reoccurring events. So I'm not saying you can't have everything going on all the time during the weekends. I'm saying, though, St. John, who's known for Jour de Fête, should have maybe 2 or 3 other super signature events where going, oh yeah, last year we went and they had this new thing. I don't know what's new. I think when the festival's organizers come to the board, your board, on their application, that would be one of the things that is the criteria, What are you trying to accomplish with your festival?
I'm real
Tell
nervous
us.
about picking winners and losers, right?
Yeah.
In my, I'm pretty conservative about that, and so I have a hard time picking the winners and losers, and you get $11,000 divided over 39 events. It's really tough for me to sit back and analyze and then go through all the grant process or whatever selection process you're going to have, and then we got to develop that and try to make it equitable and fair. And I think if we're advertising the city as a whole or the area as a whole, and including those schedules and calendars that say we have all these different events and all these different dates, I think that's a lot more palatable for me to think about spending that money, in our marketing and our advertising as a city or an area as a whole, versus spending $2,000 for actors to come down, or $5,000 for a killer band, or some of those things.
I don't know, I'm just saying you're in a competitive market, and
But the events should be able to. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That I want to try to keep this moving, but Joe, one thing before you got involved in this, we were starting to work on an idea for a system that for assisting events, and it was with matching and applying, and I think at this point, and I'll follow up with you, bring you up to speed on where we are with that, which is on hold. But for right now, I think with this idea of budget and providing support for
the festivals, and we get too bogged down in this, can we think about, is 11,000, as you say, it's not a huge amount of money. There is that overarching goal of advertising and marketing and getting people to become aware of St. John and come here. Is that an adequate number for thinking about in terms of events and helping get people here?
Well, that's what I'm doing with my money.
Taylor, when
yeah.
you've talked to other communities, what, has anyone else mentioned how they're equitably distributing funds to various festivals that their cities are hosting?
I have had limited conversations, but the ones that I've had have said that what they do is they apply the dollars equally, and then one in particular said, we're always going to support the ones that support our brand. You know, so we are about a certain thing, and so those are going to take priority. And so after that, what's left over is it just gets sliced up equally, you know? And I don't know how far that goes. That's my question is, you know, if you only have $350, that might get you a little bit of radio time and a couple of ads, but that's not going to
Move the needle very much.
It's not going to move the needle, and you're better off either coming together and saying, let's combine our monies for this, or saying, you know what, instead of each of us trying to have competing festivals and events, because it takes energy and time out of these people's lives, and it's harder and harder to find those people to do it. What if you just say, what if we take some of your stuff and your stuff, combine our money, we have a new way of doing this. It's just an idea that I'm throwing out, because the quality of your festivals and how you brand yourself is how they come in and you leave them. And if you, yeah, you know, what is the customer experience you want? I have not, unfortunately, been to enough events to give you that feedback. And I haven't had a chance to talk to enough people yet, you know. But maybe you guys, you know, can find that out.
So we have 39 events. If we equally give them all something, a piece of the $11,000 pie, that's $282 an event.
Yeah.
But not all of those are really going to focus on our brand.
But you can't pick and choose, though.
Why can't we as a council talk about what are our 5 top events? And this is
I mean,
what's
you
branding.
could.
Why not?
I mean, no, you could. I'm just saying, like, I just feel like the event that's maybe upcoming is getting the short end of the stick because they don't have the opportunity.
They could come to her next year and say, this is what we're doing, this is how we feel it fits in with your brand, will you help us out?
Okay.
And every year it can be redistributed.
I'm preparing folders for all you guys with all this information. I'm just not ready. But if you want to pass this around, you can get an idea of, and you know, the survey that I sent to you, the survey that I sent out was, it had all that.
Yeah, and I
So-
agree, I'm not disagreeing that, yeah, it could be a slippery slope, it could be, but I think you have to draw the line somewhere. I mean, and we're trying to build something here, we're trying to do something different, and we
think we
can't
have
continue to do the
criteria.
same old, same old.
Mm.
Well, I think that's also what Jeff's working on, is criteria. So you're promoting tourism. This is what TTC is supposed to be for. The money that we raise is promoting tourism. So keep that in mind as to how that's going to work within that definition. And then if you want to set up criteria, otherwise we just spend it as an overarching type of marketing for the city and just include these festivals as part of that marketing.
I just think you're opening up Pandora's box a little bit. I don't think we're quite ready for it. That's
Okay.
my opinion. That's my.
We're not ready for it, no.
We're not ready
But
for it.
we're all, but we're looking
mean you
at,
shouldn't do
what
it.
do we do, you know, for the next budget year? Do we want to, if we start doing that, let's kind of get an idea where we want to go.
So also too, it's completely different, but it's to do with the budget. I'm looking at last year's budget and this year's budget, and we took all print media out of the budget for the 2024 year. There's no print media.
A rat card, we can call that
No, but.
But there's no magazine or
No magazine,
newspapers.
Yeah, oh, I see, we print ads, okay.
Correct, yeah.
I'm doing
So-
that on my side.
Where's it at in the budget?
So
Who's
it won't
paying
be
for
It's
it?
not
this.
in your
It'll
budget.
be in marketing from the general fund.
Right. This is tax tourism dollars.
Yeah, this is just TTC money. That's-
Right.
I understand that, but I mean, we had it in TTC money last year in newspaper and magazine
And we did some
ads,
advertising. We didn't use the full amount, but yeah, we did some.
but we're not
So,
doing that.
but
for
we're
this
taking
coming year.
funds, and I've heard this before, so we're taking general funds not designated to either the Welcome Center or the tourism fund and spending it, general funds towards marketing.
You have two line items in general fund that are for marketing. One is the mention fund from the state, and the other is the marketing line that's in the general fund. So yeah, you have two different funds that are not part of TTC's money.
So, what do you have as a number in there for this year, for the marketing part?
For the matching grant?
No, that's 25, or 12.5, or whatever that is, but for the marketing part.
So for the marketing part, it ranges between 20 and 30,000.
Okay. Another question along that line, with the Welcome Center changes coming with the transfer over to national parks, if you start looking at kind of the budget that we have for the Welcome Center, there's going to be quite a bit of money, probably $20,000 to $40,000 at least, that we won't be using for maintenance and upkeep and utilities and whatnot.
Right.
So, and I know we don't have a date yet for that Welcome Center transfer, but and I bring both of these up because I didn't know that marketing number was in there. I don't feel like the tourism department has enough money to spend. $11,000, I wouldn't even mess with it to try to make enemies with the other 35 events that you don't sponsor. I don't think it'd be worth spending that 11 on in that regard to make 35 new enemies. To might make 4 or 5 groups happy, but you'd also tee off enough people.
It's your decision.
But I'm curious about the Welcome Center funds and that budget once we do that transfer, because you would think it would happen in the next few months, 6 months, in 2024.
It's federal government. I'm going to give it 24 to 36 months.
Okay.
Well, you are talking to the lawyers, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I've made some recommendations and sent the recommendations from the board. So
Okay.
yes, there will be some monies that will be optional to the board on however they want to distribute it, because you're going to have, it can stay in that department based on what the overall budget number was or is, or you're going to separate it out and put it somewhere else.
well, I guess the question is yeah, where do you put the money that is the tourism tax commissions, where is the best place for the maximum impact? Because to your point, a couple $100 here and there in the newspaper, I don't know if that's, a good use. I'm doing my thing, which I don't have time to share and could share, but, not at this meeting. But anyway, yeah, so I'm doing advertising outside the 50-mile radius.
Yeah, I think
That's what I'm required
Yeah,
to
which
do.
we established was the priority to get people here.
But, this is something that I guess the flexibility, don't you have the flexibility to make those decisions? I mean, it's not etched in stone,
Some of these are solid though, like the maintenance website is what's left over of the approval that you already have for the website, so that's what we're going to spend in the upcoming budget year.
Right.
Visit widget, we're working on that program. We haven't gotten the contract yet to approve that. Rack cards, do you want to keep the rack cards?
I do want to share something with them about the rack cards, you guys, because today this is all about really kind of getting all the information, okay? So the rack cards, I wanted to find out where these rack cards are, and I've been given all the hotels here, so you can see where they are. I can pass this around. It's Illinois, down 55, 44, and 70. So you can see the hotels. And, what they do basically, here, you can pass that around too. So what they basically do is they take this card.
It's a whole packet.
Oh, sorry.
We'll have to get it.
Keep it on.
Well, they're different. So this is kind of, let me just show you if it can real quick. This is what this was what was going into all the hotels, right? This one right here,
What year was that one?
That's the latest one, we did that in 22.
22.
right? Wasn't
Oh, I
this,
thought that
was
one.
not this one, no. She sent me, yeah, she literally, I said, what rec card is it? And she literally sent me this
good.
one, okay? Now, she told me that Perryville's, I don't know, she said, well, their rec card is doing quite well. So when you look at the designs and things like that, you know, you're looking at opportunities for redesign. They redesigned everything to where, you know, it's bold. You have very colorful images. We have teeny tiny images like River Rapids is teeny tiny on here. If you're going to show people having fun on a slide, you just, you know, want to, you know, you want to zoom in. So what I'm saying is this, just that, you know, these can be redesigned and you know where they go. Now, the issue that I have with rec cards is that you go to the QR code, okay, and we have the statistics on it. There was about 4 unique visitors in, what, 2 years? So there was about
300 and some unique visitors to that.
no, not unique, okay? I mean, if somebody does this twice, they're only a unique visitor once when they do that one time, okay? So even though it says, you know, 400 people did that, they either did it again or something like that, so it's duplicated. If you're going to do this, what you really need is you need to go to a landing page, a hidden landing page, and have a call to action. You have some kind of promotion, or you say, you try to learn something about your customer. You know, are you looking for family attractions? Or, you know, you deliver things up to where you can track their behavior, as opposed to you're just coming to the website and then they go, that looks complicated, I'm not interested. So this needs to be thought out if you're going to do the rack cards, okay?
Where's it linked now? Just visit St. Jen?
Yeah, on the main
Yeah.
page.
And that would be true for all the promotions that I'm going to do, okay? So the other thing is having, you know, allocating monies to reward people for telling you what they like and they don't like, you know? So to reward them for share your opinion, or, you know, do you like this or not like this? And it could be, you know, small things, but something, a gift card, or, you know, we'll enter your name in and you can get some earbuds, or maybe that's a little bit out of it, but still.
Okay, so
Does this $2,000 include the redesign, or is that just reprint?
No,
printing.
To redesign it would be $200.
What's $200?
She said if we get it redesigned, so I would supply, you know, the graphics and the content and so forth, and then they would kind of mock it up and so forth.
Who's she?
This is CTM.
TTM, okay.
So $200 for a redesign, that's not.
It's nothing, I mean, yeah, I mean, I could do it, it's not a problem. The problem, I mean, this is simple stuff here. The thought process behind the actual campaign is really what we want to think about. You know, what do we want people to do when they hit that QR code? Because now they've taken an action and we need to deliver something for it. What do we want to deliver? So that's.
Well, I think some of your IDs were pretty good. So does that $2,000 include redesign, new distribution, and the printing, I guess, then too?
Well, it looks like it just does
Hang on a
not
second here.
include the monthly fee.
So it's like, it's $41.40 for an annual contract. It's $4,140, and that's an annual contract. The two.
So that's the redesign.
No, this, here, you can read it. This is
I
just,
don't need to read it, I just need to know.
this is the contract for them to print this up, put it in their warehouse, okay? And the boxes, and scan it, and then it goes, you know, downtown to some of the hotels, or, you know, you've got the list in front of you.
So is having this
they
come out of
distribute it.
general fund, or is this coming out of TTC? So where's the monthly fee for the 4140? Who's paying for that?
It should come out of here, but it wasn't included in there.
So
We'd have to
this,
pull it out of the general fund.
You will have to?
Yeah, I mean, for that monthly fee, for them to keep maintenance of those.
So this
racks.
$2,000 number is wrong. It should
Yeah.
be 4,100.
Should
Should
be,
be-
Or 2,000
should
plus
be
the
actually more,
41.
yeah.
It should be
Yeah.
plus the 4140.
Oh.
2,000 plus the 4140.
Yeah, this
plus
is-
the
yeah.
200.
It's an annual contract, and,
So this total $40,000 budget is not accurate.
no. Well, you'd have to move some of these numbers, right, yeah.
We wouldn't have to
I just
move any
got this
number, we had to
today,
add
so-
to the numbers.
Either add to it or take off something else. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
here's all the
with-
information, so, yeah.
And this gets into why we wanted to have discussion tonight instead of waiting until next month. That it seems there's some things that need a bit of adjustment, and
Well, we did the same thing last year when we went through the budget.
Yeah.
We made some
yeah,
adjustments to it.
so,
When does this have to be approved?
August, no, not August. We approve it in September. So I would say at the August meeting, it would be nice to.
Have a quorum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay,
But I did want to get the budget to you so you can look at it.
yeah, this was really important process, and I'm glad we made the decision to do this meeting.
So for the August meeting, can we make sure that all those numbers are
Revised.
right? And then
Yeah.
obviously displayed in the correct column so we know what the true budget number is that we are asking for?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the only thing you really to ask for is rack cards and make sure that includes the distribution amount.
I mean, I would like to see print media added back in. I think we're missing the magazine and newspaper market for sure.
They're still doing it. It's just
But
coming
I mean-
out of a different,
I know, I don't think it should come out of general fund. I think it should come out of our funds, out of the TTC funds, if
What-
we're doing it
What was
countywide.
it? What was the
General
print
fund
last
only
year?
city.
Do you know? I don't know.
2000?
I mean,
I mean, I don't know what it
general fund's
was.
only city funds.
What was
We can
printed?
only advertise in the city,
We
you know
had
what I'm saying?
those ones.
Or for the
We had
city, but
2000.
not for our entire county.
Oh, I think one of the newspapers was Webster Kirkwood Times, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. Last year we did
So
the
if we do
Columbia,
it on
Missouri,
TTC
and-
funds, Laura, what I'm saying is then we can
You can have
encapsulate
county,
the entire
okay.
county instead of the
Okay.
city.
Okay.
Or else Cave won't get anything. Damn it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're kind of all going in the same direction here.
You can move on.
Pardon?
I said you can move on, we can't vote on
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
so-
we can't vote on it, but that we'll be looking at it next month.
So the walking tour app, let's just, okay, so we've taken care of the website. Walking tour app that says, $10,000. That's a scratch through.
The Visit widget? Or what?
No, right here. Oh, no, I'm on I'm sorry,
You're
I'm
looking
on
at the wrong one, I
2023.
think.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm eating
okay.
dinner.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
so,
Okay, so we're good on that.
happy we'll see revised budget next month. Okay.
You will not see me next month, but yes.
Okay. Okay, the one other thing that I wanted to try to get to tonight, but, we're shooting for getting this, done shortly. Thinking in terms of looking at, sort of a heading in a direction of SWOT analysis and providing some clarification on some things. One of the things that a number of people have commented on is that there seems to be some different perspectives on strengths of St. John as a destination. The whole package, the strengths of it, I know what my perspectives are on it, but I think some of us would be very interested to hear what the rest of you have to say. And rather than getting into, especially since we don't have many people with us tonight, what I would like to ask, and I will send you all an email laying this out, and also to the people who aren't here, But we would like to have from each of you 3 or 4 things that you see as the primary strengths of St. John as a destination, based on the people that you're getting, based on the reactions that you have from your guests who are coming in, not getting into weaknesses, not getting into the things that obviously all we collectively need to address. But what are the things that we have collectively to work with? That, like I say, I have my own perspectives. I'll share them with you as well when we get back together about this, even if we do this somewhat informally, but I want to know what you feel our strengths are. And with that,
You want us to email those to you?
yeah, email them to me. Or you could call me up, or you could buy me a cup of coffee and tell me.
Well, you're giving me homework. Why aren't you buying me coffee?
I'd like to say,
By August.
share some good news.
Is that what you want it by August, the August meeting? Okay.
I just want to share some good news that really dovetails nicely with that agenda item. And that is, the Missouri Department of Tourism has approved a development grant for a marketing destination plan. So they're giving us $10,000 towards that to help create. So these exercises are going to be very fruitful in the overall planning. Okay, so
Okay.
there you go.
Good news. All righty. So, other business, next meeting, August 15th at the Firehouse.
Leaving City Hall to 44 Plaza Drive, while we do remodeling, it starts on August 16th, so we're out of here as of the 15th, that day. So we're meeting at the Firehouse, and then after that, we'll probably meet at 44 Plaza. So,
When I'm not there, send me a text or remind me of the wrong stuff.
Okay. Anything else anyone would like to bring up before we adjourn?
One more quick question. So the visitor profile study, is that completed? I don't know.
we never got to it.
Okay.
Yeah, they had made it available the year before, we put it in just in case they had made it available through the state again. They had done a big push, they didn't do the push, so I didn't think it was available, so we didn't pursue it. Apparently it was, but
I think that would kind of tie in with, instead of us telling what our visitors thought, but okay.
All pieces of the puzzle.
Real quick before we adjourn, are we going to, we're redesigning the brochure and the rat card, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Well, we
Are
didn't
we-
approve that.
Are we going to approve?
Yes, we will probably, yes, we will do that. The design of the rat card is Toby's old one, so that would be
Yes.
easy to manipulate. And that's also his old
Right.
brochure. We can come up with something new. I
So
don't see you turning that down, so I don't.
will we get to approve it before it goes to print is my question.
Of course.
Review it and approve it to make sure that all the businesses are still open and.
The more eyes, the better. And I'll send you samples of what other some nice examples of what others are doing. And the other thing too that's really nice is if it's digital, it can be, 20 pages. And then if they want to download it and print it on their end, I'm just saying that's what a lot of the other destinations are doing.
Do we have this brochure anymore? Do we have an abundance of
It's a
them?
PDF, no, we don't have any of them.
None in print.
None.
We only have it digitally.
Yeah.
Can you email that to me?
Yeah.
What about the rat card?
Yeah.
Do we have those in print or are they
You
digital?
like one? I mean.
Well, I have a couple at the office, but I'm pretty thin, that's why I
I'll send it
asked.
to Microtel.
You want me to go steal from the microphone?
We have them available at the
I can
Walmart
send them
Center.
to you. I can send you, I printed those
I
out.
wasn't sure. I can just, send me the digital brochure for sure. But then if I can get some rat cards, are they at the Welcome Center or where are they at? Or here? At the rec-
Welcome Center.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can walk down and get some.
And by the way, the next meeting, we hadn't anticipated having to approve a budget, so most of that meeting will be a work session at the firehouse, not a regular session. So you may just open it up, make a quick decision, or we may try to get TTC members together early to approve the budget.
Okay.
Or even do virtual if they can just participate for a vote.
And then Happy, is this the
Thought.
map that you just reprinted?
Yes,
Do you have any left?
those are the ones at the Welcome Center.
The ones that Robbie just picked up too?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can go down and get some of those, because I'm almost out of these too. Okay,
All right. Yeah.
okay, perfect.
All right, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you.